I find those isolated thoughts, I've nailed them now. They're easy for me because they're there and then they're gone. It's as simple for me as to just sit in it, sit in that space. Oh yeah, that's a possible, but however I'm choosing this instead. Or just sitting there feeling it. I haven't got to actually do anything about that. That's just going to pass. Just like every thought, every feeling, every moment passes. So my brain is totally comfortable with saying that. So as far as I'm concerned, guys, please take that on as when these isolated thoughts, negative thoughts come in, we just say, that's not what I'm choosing, or I haven't got to do anything, but I'm observing it and I'm not going to let you take me down that rabbit hole. Even if you just have to take those moments to yourself, just compose yourself and just, it's all about allowance. Now, however, with me, what the biggest difference with intrusive negative thoughts is, or a reoccurring thought that's not going away, and this is part of having, it's very normal because it's part of having a human brain. Again, it comes up from the subconscious. But what I understand now and what my brain's totally grasped and now I can fully utilise it, is that thought that's coming from your subconscious is a blockage. If it's reoccurring, if it keeps coming up, if it's not going away from just sitting with it and feeling the feeling and then it goes, for me, that's telling me that I need to tackle that thought head on. And what I understand now is there's a feeling that I'm running away from somehow, I'm resisting, and the saying is, what you resist persists. So for me, when there's something that I would probably describe as a little bit more on the serious side, where it's something that is probably something that's stemmed back quite far back, or that is a problem you would perceive as a sort of big emotional thing, right? Whether it stems from, it could be anything, you being bullied as a child, and then these thoughts keep coming in for some reason about your child being bullied at the school gates, and it's something that, because of your programming, then that is still within your 3D environment via yourself or your children, or it could be anything. But those thoughts and those feelings keep coming up, and when you're sitting with them, they're still there. They keep coming up. So that, to me, is the subconscious wanting you to disperse that energy, that feeling, that negativity. And I realise this within my own life now, that I'm not going to go into detail about why I've actually realised this and come to this conclusion, because I would have to do a disclaimer at the back of this. So I don't want to take it away from the point, but there has been something of late that I've been putting off, and I've thought, right, just push through like a random negative thought. It's fine, feel it, it's fine. But it kept coming back. It kept the subconscious. So I hadn't dealt with it. I hadn't sat with it. And my ego was trying to protect me by trying to deflect actually really pondering the feeling, because it's perceived pain. To actually go within that feeling and really sit there and explore it and actually intend to find the answer of why we're not tackling it, why you're procrastinating on it. It's because there's a perception of fear, or there's a perception of hurt, or the ego wants us to steer away from death And anything emotional, remember guys, that is, the ego perceives we're going to die from this emotion, be it fear, anger, you know, whatever emotion it is, it's perceived death by the ego. So the ego will always try to steer you away from looking within, because that's its job. You know, we don't, like I said to you before, we don't have the saber-toothed tiger anymore, or these, you know, as a general rule, unless you live in tribes and you're in a very dangerous environment. But as a general rule, we tend to be running away from our emotions nowadays and our stress level with day-to-day life, right? And managing our finances and everything. So, but the ego still attaches that as death, to deal with it, to sit in it, because, you know, as I say, it's his job. It's its job, not his job. Its job. And so what I realised is that I was doing this, and then as soon as I understood what was happening and the reason why these intrusive negative thoughts weren't going, was because I was meant to really go in. I was meant to go inwards. I was meant to feel the feeling and ask the question, why am I doing what I'm doing? Why am I procrastinating? Why am I not walking into this fear that I'm feeling? And as soon as I understood this, and I somatically felt the feelings from within, and felt that it was uncomfortable, and it ain't what I want to think about, it ain't what I want to do, it ain't what I want to tackle. You know, I don't want to tackle this right now, I've got enough things to be tackling. But as soon as I did, and I identified the feeling, and then I identified how I needed to get over that feeling and inspired action to take to allow this to disperse from my body, guess what guys? It just dispersed. It dispersed. And the inspired action that I've taken, not that this is probably going to make much sense, but it hasn't come into fruition yet. The problem hasn't fully been resolved in the 3D yet, but it has, because I've released it from somatically, released the feelings from my physical, energetic body. So I had to go within and take the time to ask. And as uncomfortable as it is, when you have the same intrusive thoughts and feelings coming in, it's because of that reason. So I've never heard a coach do a video to explain this sort of thing. So then that allows you to persist through to manifest your desires, because we don't know how to work with these thoughts and feelings. You know, it's okay to have, like I say to you, have the faith, but without the language of our emotions, and being able to communicate with our mind-body connection, you know, our heart-brain coherence, we don't hear the cues. I wasn't hearing the cues until I sat and said, right, I'm going to tackle this head on. I'm going to walk into the fire and into the flames to see what this is. And as soon as I did it, it went. So yeah, not a massively long video, I don't think today, but please reach out to me if this doesn't make sense, because my intention for today is for it to make sense. But I'm using the jargon and the language that I know. So if it doesn't, please reach out to me. I'm on hand for all your coaching solutions. I've got a number of packages. I'll provide information in the description below. So I hope you're having a blessed day. Sending loving, beautiful energy as always your way. And I will see you in the next one.